Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
Let's get into the weeds. We've got some stuff to talk about because I saw this post in our Facebook group, and I just thought, you know what? When I read this post, and I'll share it with you a little bit, personal power really shows up in the shift. That's what I thought. Right when I read that post, it shows up in the shift. And so this is for everyone who is finding themselves stuck in a place where they're thinking, I have no options. I don't know what to do. I'm riding the struggle bus. What am I going to do here? Right? That's what we're talking about today. We've talked about this a lot, but we have to keep talking about it until sometime, someday, it clicks into place. And you know why? Because we get lost otherwise. We get stuck otherwise. We get, we don't see our way out. And I don't want that for you. And that's why I want to talk about this. She's going through this tough struggle, and I'll give you kind of the idea. She got hit with an experience that threw her a big time emotional curveball. Hi, Lisa. And that curveball put her in the place of feeling really bad about herself, of not being able to get up and get going again. And it kind of lit her life on fire. And the hurt, I could feel the hurt through her posts. Has that ever happened to you? So basically what she said was, and I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a background. And I'm also going to give Slack a minute, because Slack's giving me lots of notifications that I don't want right now. But what she said was this, basically somebody saw her and she saw that other person, and that person didn't recognize her. And apparently, through weight gain or whatever it was. And she said she's been trying to get back together for a month and just can't. And she has to admit what the heck is going on here. And she said she's been struggling ever since this whole experience. Well, I want you to think for a minute what it would feel like to be in her place. Just think for a minute. Bring out your empathetic heart for our dear friend who this happened to. Hi, Carol. This whole week, we have been talking about personal power, and maybe it was for today's show. I don't know. Because sometimes, just truth be told, sometimes I feel like, am I saying the same thing over and over again? And everybody's getting bored. Is it just like, shut up, Leanne, I had enough of you. And then something like this happens, and I think, I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be in this gal's position. I know what it feels like to walk in those shoes. I know that feeling of shame, of embarrassment, and of tremendous hurt. To have something like that just come up, boom, knock you off of your, knock you onto your side. It feels awful. It feels like something you don't want to experience over and over again. And we've talked about what personal power is. We've talked about how to use it. We even talked about how to increase it, for heaven's sakes, and how we, as wise women, saddle up to making good choices that help us to stay in personal power. We did all of that. But today we're going to find it in the most unlikely places. Are you ready to go there with me? I hope so. Because this place of struggle and discouragement, believe it or not, can be your liftoff. It can be your launch pad. And even the place of hurt. Because let's make no mistake about it. Can you imagine what it would feel like to have somebody not recognize you? And then you go, no, it's me. Remember X, Y, my name. Remember Leanne? and they don't recognize you because maybe you've gained a bunch of weight from the pandemic. It happens, right? Maybe, whatever it was that shifted. But I'm going to say something that about this to kind of get it into perspective. And lest you think I'm dismissing her pain or saying, just get over it and let's do this instead. I am not. And I never will be. I understand the tenderness and the hurt and the radiating pain. I feel the shame, that all comes with it. Not that shame should be attached, but come on, can we be real? We do feel that, that we beat ourselves up. We have this whole cycle that we go through. And so I don't want to dismiss her suffering. I don't want to dismiss her pain. And I am not doing that. But being stuck can be an option, but it doesn't need to be. And for this, I'm hoping that you see this in the intentional way that I'm trying to put this out as hope, but what about this instead? How about this shift over here so that we can go forward? Darla, thank you for that. That's so sweet. So my objective today is to help her and to help anyone else who's feeling this way to create a shift so that you can see that this is about your energy and where it's going. Okay? I'm going to explain all of this. Dr. Joe Dispenza also said this, and I posted this today on my Facebook post because we need these reminders. And he said this. He says, our bodies are surrounded by an invisible fields of electromagnetic energy that are always carrying a conscience, intention, or directive. Did you hear that? In other words, this energy field that is around us, but which, by the way, they can measure. This is not some new agey woo-woo, creepy stuff or weird stuff or, something off the chain. This is like the real deal. This can be measured. They've got instruments to measure energy output of human beings, of their thoughts. And that's why this low vibe, high vibe stuff, this is palpable. This is real. And it's true, right? It's real and it's true. We have to know vibration is energy and energy is vibration. And we're emanating that. A brick has energy. Everything on this earth has energy. And so that's what we're going to be talking about because we are 100% energy in a human container. That's how we are. That's what we are. That's the whole of us. That's the universe. That's God. That's everything has energy. Energy. So here's what Joe Dispenza said. Again, our bodies are surrounded by invisible fields of electromagnetic energy. It's also inside, by the way, but we are surrounded. It's coming out of us that are always carrying a conscious intention or directive. And our minds are the ones that control what that is. That's the interesting part because our minds have the ability to process things a little bit different should we decide to take control of them. So our minds are a little bit different than our brains, by the way. Our mind is basically sort of our will with the what we think and what have you. That's how I look at my mind. And a mindset is something that you develop to basically control your brain with. That's exactly how I look at it. And that is super helpful because that lets us know that we're not being pulled around by our noses and going every which way and we have no control. Can you imagine how horrible that would be? Having absolutely no control with your life. It tells us then that with our mind and our mindsets, that there are options. There are options to feeling different types of things. So we understand that everything has a vibe, right? Low vibe, high vibe. Interesting. We did a chart. This is a few months ago, I'm going to say. We were talking about this whole high vibe, low vibe thing. And they did an actual chart where they measured thoughts. And they could show that the lowest vibe thought is shame. Isn't that interesting? And higher vibe, of course, is confidence and feeling good and all of this other stuff. And we all know the difference between living in shame versus living confidently, right? There's a whole different thing to that. So this is what we're going to be talking about today then is the vibrational pull of what it is that we want versus what it is that we're experiencing and feeling. Okay. Because, you know, we get stuck in the struggle and we hurt, you know, but I look at these things maybe this is my Pollyanna personality. I don't know, but I look at it like this is an opportunity to use it as a launch pad. Now, I believe this with all of my heart. I believe that there are those who it's their natural propensity to say, okay, so what can we do with this? And then there are those who are more Eeyore-ish and saying, oh, you know, I don't know about, you know, this cloud is always going to be following me. All I know is this, regardless of what your personality is, and regardless of how you feel about things, that you can, if you choose, shift the way you look at something. For some, it's going to be that fast and easy. For others, it's going to take a minute because, and I will say for the Eeyores in our world, that what will hold us up from that is the necessity to process it a little bit more and a little bit longer. And finally, the uncomfortable feeling of being in that place and making a decision. I can't do this anymore. This is ridiculous. And it's going to hold me down. You know, this is, you know, and it could be clinical depression too, that needs to be spoken to with a professional. You know, there's always that. There's medications, there's different things, but I'm just talking about this particular situation, okay? And I'm without knowing all the particulars about the gal that posted this, I'm just going to take this for face value, okay? So we have to look at what I'm going to call a quantum shift and where we're going to be putting our energy. And when we understand our thoughts, our energy, can we redirect them? Well, the answer to that is yes, because we know that where our attention goes, that's where our energy flows. It's basically like we build a house for our energy. Where do you want to build a house? Where do you want it to live? Do you want it to live in this negativity and in this place of pulling you down? Or do you want to live in this place where it's solution oriented? We've identified the problem. And we've also identified the problem, she did in her post, of that she's struggling and that she's tried for the last month to pull herself out. She's tried to do, and she's still there and it's still stinging. And I'm looking at it from, you know, I get to, because I'm not doing this right now. I'm not doing what she's doing right now, but I've been in that position. And knowing what is it that I can do that's different, that will shift where the energy is going. Because if I can shift the energy, I can stop the bleeding. It's putting a tourniquet on. It's putting a dam up. It's doing all these things. You understand exactly what I'm talking about. You know, if we just had water flowing everywhere and they opened the dams everywhere, there would be entire communities flooded. Well, they don't, because that's the control mechanism of keeping that back. And there are things that we need to keep back and shift over to other places. And that's what they do. They open aqueducts and say, okay, this part of Southern California needs all this water. You know, here it all goes this way because we need to get water over there. You see what I'm going with all of this? Are these horrible metaphors? I'm trying hard here. But it's a redirection is what I'm talking about. This is hard. This is not easy to do, because the thing that's easy to do is staying where you are in the pain. But it's also a place of giving up our personal power and laying it down and allowing that situation to completely undermine what we want out of our lives. Takes out the very vibrancy that we've been desiring. You know, it unplugs us from all of this good, juicy stuff. So again, I'm just going to say I'm not dismissing her feelings. I'm saying to use these feelings as fuel for what it is that you want, right? To use that and just say, okay, you know what? I'm so hurt and I'm angry about that. Allow the anger, by the way. If we keep processing and stop shaming ourselves, we can get angry and just say, I'm just angry that this situation even happened. What can I do differently? How can I shift this whole thing? And I'm going to tell you right now, yes, there are things you can do. And, a lot of times we say, I just don't know how. Well, I'm going to give you some hows right now. I'm going to give you 15 hows. Chances are good. You've probably heard one or two of these before. And I'm okay with that because you know what? If it's worthwhile, you're going to hear it again and again. If it's something that works, you're going to hear about it again because it's not just about platitudes and feel good bumper stickers. It's about real actionable things that you can do. We can't just close our eyes and wish upon a star and make everything, presto changeo fixed. It doesn't work that way. It also doesn't work that way to just stay there. It doesn't. It's just staying there is just going to give you more of the same every day. And it's going to get heavier and heavier and heavier to carry and make you feel worse and worse and worse. What is the answer? Well, the answer is to do something. Because doing something's better than doing nothing. Just do something. That's where we start, is at the something. And I think the number one thing to do is to meditate. This brings us back to the center of who we are. Meditation lines us all up. We're all over the place. Meditation is calming. Jesus prayed and meditated. You can read all about it in the Bible, by the way. This is not unusual. I'm not asking you to go to, woo-woo land. I'm not asking you to do anything weird and strange. This is stuff that helps us to take our power to the next level. This is stuff that lines us up with our personal power, right? Meditation, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, and do it in conjunction with a little breath work because we don't breathe. We breathe too shallow. And we breathe, helps us to connect with the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve helps to calm us down. And you know what? We need calming. We need the reassurance. I believe the vagus nerve is like the reassuring, calming, yes, you can do this. Everything's going to be okay. Yes. And there's little things that we can do right along the way that are going to help out. Number 2 is journaling. I feel like crap. I feel like whatever. Let it all out. Scream. Write obscenities if you need to. Whatever it is, whatever floats your boat. But write about that. I want to feel like this instead. Let it all out. Open your heart and journal. Number 3 is goals made into affirmations. Now, I don't know about you, but I've done so many goals and so many goal systems. None of them worked until I figured out my own. I changed my goals into small, biteable pieces, 12 weeks, taking things that I wanted and changing them into an affirmation statement. It's right here in Take Back Your Life journal. You can find it at savingdinner.com/journal. And here's the thing you need to know, that when you shift the way you pronounce something and say something and leave, make that decree, and you're saying, I am, that shifts everything because now you're changing your identification of who you are. I say in my journal, I have one of my physical things is I want to be physically fit. What I say for my goal, I am an athlete training daily at the table and in the gym. That's my affirmation. It's my goal. And I'm going to keep, I'm on my second Take Back Your Life journal because it goes for 12 weeks. You're writing this down daily. Don't you think that's changing your mind? Well, the science tells us it does. When we write things down and we're writing down the same thing daily, it changes our mind. It wires a new connection. That's why this is so powerful. That's number 3. Number 4 is practical stuff. Schedule your time. You can schedule your time to do whatever it is that you want to do. What will support the life that you want to live? What will support a life that's different than feeling horrible and feeling bad and allowing these people to have a run with our lives? What would be good? Well, we can clean out our pantries. We can, what else can we do? We can clean up our environment, start making our bed every day. We can get out and take a walk. We can take the dog out for a walk. There's 1,000,001 things that we can do that we can schedule, and it's all practical to do stuff. It's amazing how these little acts they're just giving you, they're saying, I respect myself. I love myself. I'm taking care of the things that I have. And all of that just helps to build upon each other. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's a book, as a matter of fact, written by a Green Beret, general something or other, about making your bed every day. He also did a TED Talk on making your bed. You can go to YouTube and just, military guy about making your bed and listen to it. It's incredible. And it just triggers a lot of different ideas and thoughts. That's one of the big things. Number 5 is exercise for the dopamine hit. We had a little discussion about that today in the inner circle, talking about, how we get our dopamine hits. Do we want to get it from procrastination, where we finally get that thing done that we've been procrastinating over? But the energy suck that has gone on with the procrastination is intense, but we feel good at the end of finally getting it done. Or would it be better just to maybe do a little exercise or a little something else that will give you an immediate dopamine hit, rather than have all those weeks of struggle? You see where I'm going with that? Go for the dopamine hit. Yeah, dopamine makes you feel good. We get it from exercise. We get it from some other things too. We can also do number 6, tapping. Tapping is something like so, that you move the meridians. You have these like meridians all over your body. They're called energy meridian points in your body. And we get congested. Boom, boom, we can tap on, how do we do that? Tap on the back of our hands like so. And it moves the energy around. Weirdo sounding stuff, I know, but Google it and check it out. It's really impressive. Number 7 is to dance with great music you love. Do you know that dancing and that moving around, is just as effective as exercise? It counts. So do that. Music you love. I would put on a little Motown, but maybe there's something you like. Put it on and love it and allow. It changes and shifts the dynamic. And same with number 8, which is nature therapy. Go for a walk outside and be observant. See all the beautiful things. Start using your gratitude, which is number 9, for the things that you're thankful for. You're thankful for the trees losing their leaves and the color and and just the way that the wind sounds when they go through. Just little things like that will help. It builds you up. It gives you that dopamine hit. And number 10, man, if you're in a bad way, go take a cold shower. I'm not kidding. Go take a cold shower. Boom! That will blow your brains out. I'm telling you, it will make you go, whoa, whoa. And it shifts everything. Dramatic, but it will shift your state. 11 is go barefoot in the grass. It's called grounding. I know it sounds bizarre, but it's electrical current stuff again. And this is how we connect to the earth. I know it sounds bizarre, but it's based on science. They've got grounding pads and grounding this and grounding that. We ground wires when we wire a house for all of that so that we don't electrocute ourselves. Same kind of idea. Sometimes we need a little grounding. That was number 11. Number 12 is sunlight. We need vitamin D therapy. So get out there and just allow the sun to hit your skin without the sunscreen, without any sunglasses on, just so that you can get a little bit of sun in. Now, I'm not talking about sunbathing here. I'm not talking about getting blasted and sunburnt and what have you. I'm talking about a little bit of sun, just getting that little bit of sun. You will see and feel the difference. And also activates your vitamin D, by the way. Number 13, remember that vagus nerve that I just told you about? It's not the Las Vegas nerve. It is the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is your connector because it runs right up your arm into your brain. That's why journaling is effective. That's why we learn better that way. And it's also why singing, humming, and even yawning will help to activate it as well. So it's really quite incredible. It's relaxing, it's centering, it's all of the things. Those little things can make a difference. You can write these all out, by the way, and just say, okay, I got to do something to shake the way I am right now, to shake all of this because it doesn't work. It's not working for me right now. I need something. Laughter's the same way. That's number 14. Go watch a Three Stooges movie or Groucho Marx, or I love the old timey, stick. I just think the whole shtick and everything, I think it's just hilarious. It's funny to watch, why I oughta, you've seen it with Curly and Moe. Too funny. And number 15 is self-care. Take a bath, 20 minutes, Epsom salts and some lavender oil, light some candles, see what that does for you. We can't opt out of an experience we've already had. What we can do, though, is manage how we feel about them in the aftermath. And then we also can use that as fodder for the fire to get us up and to get going. Because these are practices, by the way, that over time can help you shift your energy and capture your personal power again. Because we give away our power to feeling bad and to this whole experience. And I get it, but we don't have to. And then we can take that and allow, yeah, you're right. Darla's right. Gargling also activates the vagus nerve. If we stay present and focused, we will find ourselves in a new place. And we can take this list and go, hey, I need to do a couple of things. I need to work on my physiology here. There's science involved that will help. It's not just about what you're thinking. It's about what you're doing. And we know this too. My favorite Robin Sharma quote is, what we think about expands. What we focus on becomes our destiny. So we need to think long and hard. What do we want our destiny to become? What thoughts do we want to allow to have expansion in our minds and in our lives? So listen, I will tell you this. The shift for everyone is different. The ability to be able to go from here to there is different for everyone. Some people, like this, can just do it. Other people, it's going to be bits and pieces, like putting together a puzzle. But I want to say and encourage you with this. Just because it's hard or really seems insurmountable, it doesn't mean that it's impossible. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. And the other thing is, you're not going to do everything on this list, but you can pick and choose as you want, like a buffet, if you want. And I want you to just think of this for a minute, that a little attention away from what's been pulling you down is certainly going to help from keep pulling you down further. We have choices. We always have a choice. No one's sitting there holding a gun to your head and say, only think about this. We think that we're out of control. We think we can't control it, but we can. And when we especially say, you know what, I can control this. I am capable of shifting my focus. I am statements, remember, are strong and a directive, an incredible directive for your brain to do something. You're telling your brain exactly what to do. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. I'm not going to lie to you. But numbing out or checking out isn't the answer. That's oftentimes what we do. We just ignore, we just whatever. Sometimes we go there and then we don't. But doing nothing is going to make you feel worse. You can't go back and change the experience. But if we tap into the personal power that we have and we understand that, look, the struggle bus is real, but I don't have to get on the struggle bus and allow Keanu Reeves or whatever his name is to keep driving the bus all the way, with no brakes. It's not going to blow up. You can say, get off. You can say, stop the bus. I'm getting off here. It's not like that movie Speed. So what if we instead focused on exactly what it is that we wanted? That we take the pain and we say, you know what, pain, you're here. I acknowledge you, but I'm going to use you as my impetus to get over to here, because that's where I want to go. Where your focus goes, your energy goes. You believe that? I believe it with my whole heart. I've lived that. I've seen it. I've seen it over and over again with my coaching clients. And I believe this for you too. Don't allow the bad stuff to hold you down. Instead, start focusing on what it is that you want. That experience does not define you at all. What defines you is God. He's already determined who you are and what you are, and that you're here on purpose and for purpose. How about living in that power instead of the other? What do you think of that idea? I say pinkies up. That's what I say. Jocelyn's already there. Pinkies up to all of you. And thank you so much for joining me this week. Peace be with you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.